What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. This is your review of Queen Sugar, Season 5, Episode 8. So, listen, y'all got me on this one, Queen Sugar, okay? Y'all got me. I was so busy looking left, I didn't see what was coming from the right side. So, we start this episode. Blue is having nightmares. He is dreaming about running from the police, and his dad telling him don't run, but him running towards his mom. And, of course, unfortunately, that is the side effect of what it is that we're dealing with. The reality is they had to have the conversation. Um, but of course, he's processing it and he's afraid and he's, going through all these different emotions. Now, we saw where Charlie called Davis at the end of last episode. Davis gets to the house and Charlie can't even get off the couch. Y'all, I was so busy worried about Charlie and this being stress. It never occurred to me that it was COVID. I know that sounds crazy. This whole season is about, COVID, right? It never occurred to me that she had COVID because I was like, okay, I was worried about Mr. Prosper getting COVID. We know Hollywood Mama had COVID and passed away. It never occurred to me. Anyway, Davis gets to the house. Charlie is on the couch. She can't get up. He calls 911. And, she tells him, put your mask on. I think I got COVID. I think that's what this is. And so I'm just going to run through this, okay? He stays with Charlie while she goes through all of this, right? He's clocking, her temperature, taking her temperature every hour, honey. He done carried her up them steps. He cooking broth for her. And Charlie is going through, she is achy. She is in pain. She is sore. She has coughing fits and she can't breathe. And the only thing in this whole scenario that was a little unrealistic for me was he said he had been there for days with her, right? Like by this time, this had gone on for days throughout the whole episode. She wouldn't let him tell Micah, and she wouldn't let him tell the family. Now Micah, okay, because he's gonna text, and he did text her, and from Minneapolis, and he's doing his thing. But you mean to tell me that Avi, Nova, even Ralph Angel, ain't nobody talked to Charlie for 2 or 3 days, ain't nobody thought it was weird. I just can't imagine that they had not talked to her for 2 or 3 days and it wasn't an issue. That's the only thing that sort of threw me left, right? Because I was like, and Davis is telling her that she's wrong. Davis told her she was wrong for not telling Micah. He said, listen, if the situation were reversed, you'd be pissed off. She said, well, I don't want him to feel like he has to come home. I don't want him worried about me. And he said, you're wrong for taking away the option. You're wrong for taking that option away from him for him to come home. Now, let's be clear. Him coming home probably isn't the best decision because, if she got COVID, it's bad enough that Davis was exposed to it. So he didn't need to be in the house. But I do think, especially as serious as this was and how suddenly people were passing, unfortunately, taken out of context that we know they ain't going to kill Charlie, but it doesn't matter for the purposes of the story. I understood exactly where Davis was coming from. And Micah is going to be pissed off when he finds out. Same thing with calling Aunt Vi and them. And she says, listen, as a matter of fact, not only do I not want you to tell them now, I want you to keep this between the two of us. This never happened. He don't like it. She said, listen, I just can't deal with it. I can't deal with the questions, the conversation. I don't want to talk about it. And I think that's some of it, but I also think a lot of it comes down to Charlie always being the one that everybody else turns to. It was really hard for her to give up and give over so much control. Even to the point where Davis, her temperature had gone up at one point and she was like, don't take me to the hospital. Davis was like, let's be clear. If your temperature continues to go up, you will go to the hospital. And she was like, no, there are not enough beds. I don't want to take up a bed from somebody who's sick. I'm like, Charlie, do you realize that you're sick? Like, I get it, but it's like, you are going to sacrifice yourself to the point of ridiculousness. Like, You are sick. That is what it is there for. Unfortunately, and I 100% understand, but at the end of the day, baby, girl. And Davis told her, "Listen, you going to the hospital. If I gotta build you another bed myself, you gonna go to the hospital if you continue to get sick." Um, Thank God, after a few days, it seemed like she was getting better. I mean, she was still, sleeping, and she just every time she woke up, he was there. Like, he did not leave her side. I mean, he slept in the chair next to her bed, honey. He did not leave her side, and you saw the care. You saw how much he cared. You saw the care in him taking care of him. He told her, he said, I love you. You know, like, I'm gonna take care of you. I got you. Like, that's what this is. I got you. Um, and of course, throughout this ordeal, she's having flashbacks and she's dreaming about, her and Davis. And we saw the flashback of when they were still living in LA and she found out about the affair and, all of that. So she went through all of that while she was going through this. By the end of the episode, though, she was definitely feeling a lot better. Not 100% out of the woods, but definitely, definitely much, much better. And at one point, Davis didn't even have on his mask anymore. And she was like, she's like, I'm coughing all over you. He said, girl, I've been here for days. What's going to be is going to be. Like, if I got it, I got it at this point. I've been here for, I've been by your side for days. Like, yeah, this little mask, okay, but if I got it, I got it, Now, while all of this is going on, Nova done called, Darla done called her mama. Because her mama done got Blue in the Sitwell friends. And Darla is like, no, ma'am, Pam. Like, that is not okay. That is not what we doing here. My son is not going to Sitwell. He is not moving to D.C. He's staying here with us. Yes, he's smart and he's a genius. And we're going to find an alternative here. But you had no right to go and apply to a school that I didn't even give you permission to apply to talk to them about my son. Like, she said, and how did you even do this? Like, because let's be clear, Sitwell Friends is not an easy school to get into. I don't care what age level. It's not easy to get into. And of course, her mama got connections and they've made donations and her father went there, so he's an alum. So, of course, all of the different things came together for that to happen. But Darla was like, no, ma'am, this is not going to work, Darla ended up calling Aunt Vi, and Aunt Vi is going off. Oh, I can't believe your mother did this. No, Blue's not going anywhere. Blue is staying here. We'll find a school for him here. He's not going anywhere over my dead body. And so, of course, Hollywood and Mr. Prosper is sitting there while she's having this whole conversation. Now, Mr. Prosper ain't saying nothing. But Hollywood, as soon as she hung up, Hollywood was like, I thought we was minding our business. And Aunt Vi said, Blue is my business. He was like, all right, whatever. I'm going to let that go. I'm going to let you stay over there with that. Nova called Aunt Vi about Cop, And they're talking about him proposing. And, Aunt Vi said, listen, I think that's where we're going with this. Like, I think that's what's getting ready to happen here. I think y'all are on that path to marriage. And Nova was like, are you serious? You think so? She was like, yeah, I absolutely think so. She said, and it's about time. Like, y'all been doing this for a long time. Y'all love each other. I think he's really ready for that. And Nova was like, I don't know if we're ready for marriage. Like, I love him. I ain't gonna sit here and deny that, but I don't know if we're ready for that, So, Cop Boy comes home. Oh, excuse me. Cop Boy comes home. And, him and Nova ended up having a conversation. And, she said, listen, we need to talk about what we started down to the wedding. And they do. They have a serious conversation about them getting married, and he says, listen, I love you. This is what I want. He said, but I'm down for whatever. Like, if you want to be like Oprah and Stedman and we just ride this thing out forever, or you want to be like, Sam Jackson and LaTanya, like, we could do it however you want to do it. Like, I just want to be with you. And so she was like, well, we wouldn't have, and this is the thing that makes me mad. Well, I mean, we can't be like them. We'll have to pick a couple that's not of color. Girl, you knew what the hell he was saying. Like you in a relationship, everything can't be like, girl, just you know what the hell he meant. Like, I just thought that was a bit much, but whatever. Um, but he told her, he said, "Listen, I love you, and this is what I want, but I follow your lead on this, you know." And she said, and she was like, "I don't know." He said, "Listen, we've been doing this for a long time, you know." But she, she was just like, "I don't know. Like, I'm just not sure where we are. I'm not sure if we're ready for this." Um, but it seemed like by the end of the conversation, she was sort of coming around to it, but she didn't give any definitive answers. I mean, she didn't commit to nothing. She didn't commit to nothing. So, honey, Aunt Viden called up Darla's mama and goes all the way off. Tells her how out of line she is. Tells her that this ain't okay. That she can't be telling that Blue is not coming to live with her. And Darlene was like, Violet, with all due respect, you are not that child's mother. Like at the end of the day, his mother and father will make this decision. I'm just giving them options. And she says, "Well, I do have a say in this because I helped raise him without any input from you." She was like, "I sent you money, Vi." And when she said that, Hollywood kind of looked around the corner, and I'm wondering if Hollywood didn't know that part. Because the way he sort of jumped into the conversation when she said, "And I sent you money," I don't know. She said, "Yeah, you sent me money, but money doesn't replace, a hands-on raising. I raised Blue. I did this and I did that." And she is going off on that woman. I mean, to the point where Hollywood had to come and stop her and be like, "Yo, you doing too much right now." And then the woman ended up hanging up on Violet, like, "Violet, listen, I'm going to end this right now because this going left. And at the end of the day, it's not your decision. I hear you. I understand how you feel. But this is going to come down to my daughter and his daddy." And so when she hangs up the phone, Hollywood is like, "Vi, what was that about? Like, I get it that you mad, but what was that about? Like, you doing way too much right now." And, Vi was like, "Listen, Blue ain't going nowhere. And that's it. And that's that on that, right?" So then we see Hollywood talking to Ralph Angel. They on FaceTime sharing a drink. Ralph Angel, they both have the same bottle of liquor. He bought that for Ralph Angel for the wedding, and they're sort of drinking. And then, they toast their beautiful strong black women. They talk about how they hold them up, while they keep them in check, but uplift them at the same time. He said, Lord knows I love Vi, but right now she on one. And, Ralph Angel was like, "I understand where you coming from. I get it. I can respect that," And they have a moment, they have a moment, and, Hollywood was like, "I needed this right here. I needed this, And so later on, Aunt Vi surprises Hollywood with dinner down to the diner. She dresses up real nice, and she fixed all of his. Not only did she fix all of his favorites, but she used his mom's recipes. And so that helped, and that meant a lot. And so they had a good moment, they had, it was interesting because that scene was sort of out of place because I feel like they were sort of going through some stuff that they didn't really address during the dinner. But maybe that's what it was about. It was about, let's not talk about all of the other things that we have swirling around about us right now. Let's just be us. Let's just be happy. Let's just enjoy the meal. Let's just be Hollywood and Vi tonight, But it was a nice meal. It was very, throwback of the Hollywood and Vi moments, and it was cool. It was real cool. Later on that night, they're talking, and he's telling her the conversation he had earlier that day with Ralph Angel over FaceTime. He said, and made me realize that, maybe I do need to get back to, focus on opening up my spot, because I really did need that. I needed to talk to my boys, I needed some guy time, really. He said, but I don't know if we can wait until this is over with. You know, I'm thinking maybe we could do it online through Zoom or something. You know, it just felt good to just be talking to Ralph Angel and for us to just, you know, share this moment and have this time together. And then I was like, I think that's a good idea. Like, that sounds good to me. So then Ralph Angel sort of took a moment and said, so, I mean, not Ralph Angel, I'm sorry, Hollywood. He said, so, I don't know what that was about earlier today with you and Darlene. But when you ready to talk about what the real issue is, I'm here to listen. Baby Vi wasn't trying to hear that. She snatched, he was giving her a little foot rub. Honey, she just snatched her foot away from him and was like, I'm fine. Baby, he was like, and it's funny how it's funny how much they love each other, how much they just know each other. Because that he was unbothered. He was like, all right then. Like he knew she was irritated, and he knew that she didn't like what he just said, but he also didn't. He didn't care. He rolled over and went right on back to reading his magazine. Like, she be alright, okay. Darla and Ralph Angel are talking about Blue going to the school, and surprisingly enough, Ralph Angel is sort of open to the idea. He said, "Listen, I can't protect him forever. And if this school is going to give him the opportunities and give him some advantages and really be the place for him, I'm kind of here for it. You know, no, I don't want him to go away from me. And yes, I'm going to miss him and I love him. But if this is the best option for him, I mean, we got to do what's in the best interest of our child." And I'm on the fence. I really see both sides of that coin. The one thing I will say, and this comes from growing up in this area, and so many of these, I have friends who went to Sitwell Friends, and I have friends that went to schools with congressmen. I mean, my high school, the current mayor of D.C., I went to high school with her. I know her. We went to school together. And a lot of times going to those schools is sometimes it's just about making the right connections and knowing the right people and being in the room with the right people. One, Blue is so gifted and he is so smart. And then to be in the room, I mean, you know, we're talking about presidents' daughters, not just the Obama girls went there, but Chelsea Clinton went there. Like, I see where Darla's mom is coming from, and I understand where Ralph Angel is coming from. But the flip side is I also see where Darla and where Aunt Vi is coming from. Like, listen, we can find a school here in New Orleans for him. He doesn't have to necessarily go to that school. So my only objection is the fact that he would have to move away from everybody he knows and loves to go there. Not so much for him going to the school. Anyway, we'll see how that whole thing plays out. Later on in the episode, they're playing Jenga, you know, Ralph Angel, Blue, and Darla, and they having like a real great family night, you know, and laughing and joking and really, really enjoying each other's company. And Ralph Angel realizes, you know what? I don't really want to see this end. I don't really want this to end. I feel like we missed a lot of time as a family when you weren't with us, when we weren't together, and I don't really want to see that end. So he's sort of changing his mind now about Blue going up to the school. Let me see. I think that might be almost it, y'all. Nova gets information about a local football player who got paralyzed from a beating from the cops. And she's reading the articles, and I know that somehow this is going to end up connecting back to her boyfriend. Not saying that he's the one that did it, but either he knew about it or just the fact that he's a cop and her just being reminiscent of the fact that, you know, just the whole cop thing, you know, I don't know. But the article, we just saw a glimpse, we just saw the headline from the article. But I'm definitely, I don't think it looks good for where this is going. You know what I'm saying? But that was it. That was all. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in the comments. Peace.